I'm Cindy Lauster, and I became a member a year ago. And it was during COVID again, so it was kind of a surprise, what churches were going to be like. I have been a Lutheran for, I guess, around 50 years or so. And but I checked other ones out, and one of the things that I really liked about this one was that they're involved in the community, and that was really important to me. And then the friendliness, the first thing when I walked in the door, they were so friendly, and they helped me to the stairs to show me how to go up the stairs and everything, and just made sure that I became a part of it right away. So that was really important to me, that they cared when I came in. And so, even with masks on, they cared. Well, it's interesting growing up because we weren't that involved in the church. When I first started out, my father was a congregational Christian. And so it was a church that that his family had helped build. My mother never really liked it. So we didn't go as often as we probably should have been going. And we went, I can remember if we went on Sundays and my father took a long time talking at the end of the service, then my mother made sure that we got to go out for lunch that day. So that was kind of cool to us as kids. One of the scary things for me during that time was that being a congregational Christian, you weren't baptized until you were 14, and that was in a water trough tank thing that they took at the front of the church. And I was petrified. I thought I'm going to be the first person dying in a tank, for baptism, because I didn't know how to swim. So I was like, I'm going to die. Well, then turned out that my father did die when I was 11. And so my mother then at that point decided that we would not go there anymore, and we would go to the Methodist church. But one of the things that happened during the time when my father died was that I can't tell you who or what it was, but someone came to me during that time, and after my father died, I felt like I was very much alone. And I was the oldest child. I was 11 and the oldest, and it felt like all the responsibility was on me. And this spirit of some sort came to me and basically said to me that it'll be okay, and that I've got you, and so that helped a lot during that time. And so then we ended up going to the Methodist church, not attending a lot again, we did go, and I became a member, and I was baptized in the Methodist church. Well, then when I went to college, the Methodist church was a long walk from where I was at. And my roommate, in fact, most of the people on the floor I happened to be on, there was 40 of us on that floor, and I think only 4 of us were Protestant, and the rest of them were Catholic. And my roommate was Catholic, and it was really close by. It was right there on campus. So I went to church with her, and even though they were speaking Latin, I had no idea what was going on. But I went to church with her. So obviously, there was an influence upon me that I was searching for something, and I was searching for God, that it was pushing me to do that because of, I think, part of what happened with my father, with the death of my father. But it was there trying to say, you're searching for something. I was searching for more from it. And I remember there was a movie that came out about Ruth, the book of Ruth. And that always kept in my mind about her looking, she was going to follow her mother-in-law. She didn't know what it was about or anything like that, but she was following her and going that direction. And I always felt like that was what I was doing. I was searching and going that direction. I knew what I wasn't sure what I was going for, but I was going that way. And then I met my husband, and he was a Lutheran, and he went to a Lutheran fraternity. He was in a Lutheran fraternity on campus too. And it was like, oh, this is what I was searching for. This was it. This was where, and so that's how I ended up in the Lutheran church, was with my husband and everything. So, but there was an influence early on, I think, after my father's death, and it just kept pushing me that direction. When my husband and I met, when Ronnie and I met, we came from different parts of the state in Indiana, and so we thought that we'd be we met in the spring, and so we thought, well, then he was going to go off to work, and I was going back to my home, and we thought there wouldn't be any, we would be away from each other. And we had actually seen after the first date. We were with each other. We saw each other every day until the end of the semester. And he was 3 years older than me. And it turned out, he was supposed to be sent by the government to another part of Indiana, southern part of Indiana. And he came the day before he was supposed to go, and he says, I have a little surprise. Hopefully it'll work for you. And I said, what's that? He says, I'm being sent to your hometown. And I was like, really? And it was like, God was, telling me this was going to be the person. They sent him there. And when I gave him directions the first time to come to my house, I gave him the wrong directions. But somehow he managed to get there, and so I was like, okay, God's pushing him there again, that he's pushing him to it. So it was just like too many coincidences that happened that he ended up in my hometown the whole summer, and in fact, we got married that next year. But it was like God was saying, okay, this is the person you're going to be with. And he also, all the time when I was growing, after my father's death, I thought, I'm going to be a scientist and figure out how people don't die from heart attacks and stuff like that. But everybody kept telling me, no, people kept coming up to me and saying, no, you really should be a teacher. And I said, no, I don't want to be a teacher at all. And then I took a class in college that I really liked that had to be with with history and teaching. And I go, okay, I changed my mind. God, you're right. I need to be a teacher. And so I became a teacher. And then when my husband and I, we moved with the government. And the way we moved with the government, when we said, okay, if it's God's plan, that's where we're going. If it's not, it's okay. God's going to show us what way to go. And so he kind of, when all of our life was going along that way, whichever way you want us to go, that's what we're going to do. And it just, kind of left it up to him instead of us making the decision, and worrying about it. It's like, no, I'm not going to worry about it. God will take care of it, and we'll go with that. My mother died when I was in my early 20s, and again, I kind of went back in my mind to when my father died, and what, that it said that, go take care, I'll be there, I'll take care of you. And then it really became up big time when my husband died. And again, an unexpected death. He had a heart attack. And again, that spirit, I don't know where it came from, but the spirit again came to me. And it said to me again, it'll be okay. I've got you. And because I wasn't sure who I was at that point, and where I was going to go and what was going to happen, because the plans we had made weren't going to happen anymore, but I thought, okay, he's got me, it'll be okay. And so that's what I've depended upon when things have happened that I didn't expect or didn't want. God took me that way. And so that's the way I've done it. I think things that help me and lift my spirits every day is other people and the experience I take with them. I'm always open to the new things that are going to happen in my life. That God's told me that, just take it all in. And people make a big difference in my life, and variety of people. The experiences with them, with the Afghan families. That was a brand new experience for me, and but it was a wonderful experience. And it was a challenge, but that's kind of what God's told me, that do the challenges, because you're gonna enjoy life more. You're going to be, you're going to add to your life and to what's there to experience it all. And that's important to me, to experience it all. I want to grow with it. And that's what God has given me, is to grow with it. And I always figure with that, he'll always be there to take care of me, because he's told me that. And so that's kind of where I go with it. Well, I have to say, every day, on my way here even, we had to talk about me doing this. God and I did in the car. And I do that, every day when I go out, when I go to substitute teach, I always ask God, to make me enthusiastic about being there, to be energetic about life, and to just enjoy what I'm doing and where I'm around. And I say that every day on the way, and we talk about it. God and I talk about it in the car. And no matter what I'm doing, it's I think life to me is almost a constant prayer with me and Him. It's a constant thing that it doesn't necessarily start out with me saying, "Okay, God, I want to pray to you today." I'm talking to you all the time. And so I think, that makes a difference for me.